Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Exercise section. Working with the text. Put these sentences from the story in the right order and write them out in a paragraph. Don't refer to the text. There are few sentences given like this, here and here. So there are sentences given. You have to make a paragraph of these sentences, but you do not have to go and check out the text as in inside the story. You don't have to go back to the story to counter check. You have to make these sentences on your own, and we have to put it in the right order. What happened first, then what happened, then what happened, and then what happened. So you have to write the paragraph according to the ascending order, you can say, or how the story started and then what happened and then how it ended. So this is how we have to write the paragraph. So what I do is, I will mark the sentences as number 1, 2, 3, and then you can make the paragraph on your own, or I'll see if I can write it for you. So the first sentence is, I shall be so glad when today is over. Having a leg tied up and hopping about on a crutch is almost fun, I guess. These two sentences are not the starting of the story, correct? So let's first find the starting of the story. I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day, at least not much. But being blind is so frightening. Only you must tell me about things. Let's go for a little walk. The other bad days can't be half as bad as this. So, if we look at the sentences, this is the sentence which comes the first. Let's go for a little walk. Number 1 would be, this would be number 1. Let's go for a little walk. Then what happened? When they started walking, what did the girl tell him? When she asked him that let's go for a walk, she told him, only you must tell me about things. So she said, when she said that let's go for a walk, she said, only you will be telling me or describing me the vicinity, the surroundings, about whatever is there in the surroundings. So this will be number 2. Then what happened? When they started walking, the other bad days can't be half as bad as this. No. I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day. No. But being blind is so frightening. No. I shall be so glad when today is over. This is the third line in the paragraph. I shall be so glad when today is over. Once we do the exercise, once we complete this one, you can go back to the text and then refer. Next what happens? Then she says, this would be number 4. The other bad days can't be as bad as this. This would be number 4. Then what happened? Then she said, number 5, having a leg tied up and hopping about on the crutch is almost fun, I guess. So this would be number 5. Then these two are left. I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day, at least not much. This would be number 6. When she said that I don't mind being deaf, at least not much. And last one would be, number 7 would be, but being blind is so frightening. Alright kids, do you understand this one? The first one would be, let's go for a walk. She started with this, let's go for a walk. Then second thing would be, only you must tell me about things. Then she explained that the author had to explain the surroundings. Then, I shall be so glad when today is over, because she wanted the day to be over. So she said this line, I shall be so glad when today is over. then the other bad days can be half as bad as this. So she said that other bad days would be not half as bad as this one. Then she said, having a leg tied up and hopping about on a crutch is almost fun, I guess. This would be number 5. And then, I don't think I'll mind being deaf for a day. It tastes not much. Number 6. And the last one would be, but being blind is so frightening. Okay? So this exercise is over. Coming to the next question. We will be doing answer the following questions. Why do you think the writer visited Miss Beam's school? What should be the answer for this one? Why do you think the writer visited Miss Beam's school? The writer, I'll just answer this answer for you. I am writing the answer here. The writer visited Miss Beam's school because he had heard and read a lot about her school. So he wanted to gather first hand experience. Okay, so the answer would be the writer visited Miss Beam's school because he had heard and read a lot about her school. So he wanted to gather first hand experience. He wanted to see for himself what is it about her school that he's heard and read about. You all can write the answers in your own words, but just watch that, make sure that the meaning of that particular answer comes correct. Next, what was the game that every child in the school had to play? The answer for number 2. Every child in the school was given a task to play the role of a deaf, dumb, injured, blind, what else is left? And lame. Once in a term. This kind of game was to make them aware of the misfortune. So this would be the answer for the second question. What was the game that every child in the school had to play? Every child in the school was given a task to play the role of a deaf, dumb, injured, blind and lame once in a term. This kind of game was to make them aware of the misfortune. Answer number 3. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day. Complete the line. Which day was the hardest? Why was it the hardest? So we will write the answer here. Each term we'll copy the whole sentence because we have to complete the line. So each term every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. Now the second part, which day was the hardest? Being blind was the hardest day. Why was it the hardest? Being blind was the hardest. We'll erase day from here. Being blind was the hardest because children were frightened of hitting something or falling down. This would be the answer for the third question. Each term has one blind day, one lame day. We have to complete the sentence. So we have done it. Each term, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one injured day, and one dumb day. The second part, which day was the hardest? The answer would be being blind was the hardest. Third part, why was it the hardest? Being blind was the hardest because children were frightened of hitting something or falling down. Answer number fourth. What was the purpose of these special days? Purpose means why was it done? What was the motive behind it? The purpose of these special days was to make children appreciate what they have to appreciate? Misfortune. Misfortune means bad luck. Thus, they learned to help those who suffered such misfortunes. The question was, what was the purpose of these special days? As in, what was the motive behind it, behind such an activity? The purpose of these special days was to make children appreciate misfortune. Thus, they learned to help those who suffered such misfortunes. Okay? So, I think we've completed the question answers. Yes. Now, we will be doing working with language. Match the words and phrases with their meaning in the box below. So, this is the box, this one, and we have to match these words. We have to match from this box. So, the first one is homesick. Homesick. What do you think homesick means? Let's find out in this box. Almost, it hurts me, terrible, test the strength of, understanding the difficulties, wanting to be home, a welcome change, not very caring. Wanting to be home. The answer to homesick would be wanting to be home. Homesick means when we are getting sick about going back to our home. Next, practically. Almost. So practically will be almost. It pains me. Almost, it hurts me. It hurts me. It pains me means it hurts me. Let us just slash down the words we have done. Almost we have done. It hurts me we have done. Wanting to be home we have done. Next, appreciate. Terrible. Test the strength of. Understanding the difficulties. A welcome change. Not very caring. The answer would be understanding the difficulties. Appreciate, to praise. Appreciate actually means to praise or to understand somebody's problem or a difficulty or a particular situation. Understanding the difficulties. Next, thoughtless. Thoughtless means not very caring. Somebody who just is careless, who don't think about people or things or just the environment or just anything, who's very careless, not very caring. Next, exercise. Terrible. Test the strength of. A welcome change. The answer would be test the strength of. Exercise means to understand or to challenge or to test somebody's strength. Relief, a welcome change, or terrible? The answer would be a welcome change. Next and the last one, ghastly. Ghastly means terrible. We are done with all these. Terrible. Ghastly means something which is unpleasant or bad. Coming to the next exercise, what is to be done here? Reword these lines from the story. We have to rephrase, reword these lines. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school. Miss Beam was all that I had expected, middle-aged, full of authority. I went to the window which overlooked a large garden. We cannot bandage the children's mouths, so they really have to exercise their willpower. Okay, so these are the 4 sentences and we have to reword them. I'll just tell you how to do it. So the first one is, I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school. Reword means writing the sentence in a different way, paraphrasing it. Paraphrasing means using different words, but the meaning of that particular sentence should be same as per this sentence. You have to write the sentence in a different manner, using different vocabulary, but the meaning should not change. So the first one, I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school. How can we rephrase it? We can write, the author had heard good reviews about the teaching methods of, this apostrophe won't come here, it would be just single S, just put it by mistake. Of Miss Beam's school. Our original sentence was, I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school. We have paraphrased it by writing, the author had heard good reviews. Great deal ko we have paraphrased as good reviews about the teaching methods of Miss Beam's school. Coming to the next one. Miss Beam was all that I had expected, middle-aged, full of authority. How can we write this one? The writer found Miss Beam to be a middle-aged and an authoritative woman. The original sentence was, Miss Beam was all that I had expected, middle-aged, full of authority. We have written, the author found, F-O-U-N-D, found Miss Beam to be middle-aged and an authoritative woman. Coming to the next one, third. I went to the window which overlooked a large garden. How can we rewrite it with the paraphrasing? The writer looked outside the window and saw a huge garden. The original sentence was, I went to the window which overlooked a large garden. The answer is, the writer looked outside the window and saw a huge garden. Fourth, we cannot bandage the children's mouths, so they really have to exercise their willpower. Answer number fourth, the children's mouths cannot be put into bandages, so an exercise of willpower is required on their part. Right? So this is answer number 4. The children's mouths cannot be put into bandages, so an exercise of willpower is required on their part. Now coming to exercise number C, question 1. Given below is a page from a dictionary. Look at it carefully and first let's quickly see the dictionary. See, these are the pages from the dictionary. Now let's come back to exercise. Part 1. Find a word which means the same as ghastly. Write down the word and its two meanings. Now we have to find a word from the dictionary which means the same as ghastly, and then we have to give its two meanings. So let's quickly write down. First question, first part. The answer will be terrible. Terrible means ghastly. And two meanings of terrible are to be fearful and horrible. Right? So terrible means ghastly and the meanings are to be fearful or horrible. Second part, find a word meaning a part of the school year. Now we have to find a word from the dictionary which means a part of the school year. And the word will be term. See, term. Terms means in a school year. So we'll write down part 2, term. And term means a fixed length of time. And second one is in a school year. right? Coming to part 3. Find a word that means examination. So we will write, third one is, now we have to find a word which means examination. So that will be test. And the two meanings will be to look at something to see if it is correct or will work properly. And the second meaning for the test will be to ask someone questions, right? So these are the answers for part C, first, second and third. Now coming to exercise number 2. Let's read what is to be done here. Now make lists of all the words on the page plus any more that you can think of that begin with TERR. Now we have to find the words from the dictionary where the words are starting from the group of letters TERR, and we can make some other words from our own wish. So let's start. Question number 2, part 1. The answers will be terrace. Terrace starts from TERR. Terrible. Terror. Territory. Terrain. Terrorist. Terrestrial. And terrifying. Right? So these are the answers for first part. Second part, 5 words that may follow the last word on the page that. Now from the page of the dictionary where the last word is that, we have to find 5 words that follow that. So the second part, the answers will be show, after, given, such and bring. These 5 words are the words that follow that. Now coming to third part, write down your own meaning of the word thank, then write down the meaning given in the dictionary. Now we have to give the meaning of thank in our own words, and then we have to write down the meaning which is given in the dictionary. So first let's write down the meaning in our own words. We'll write to express gratitude for someone's kindness, gift or service. This is the meaning of thank in our words, and now we have to write the meaning in which is given in the dictionary. So the meaning in the dictionary, I've written D, that means the meaning in the dictionary is to say we are grateful to someone. So with this we complete question number 2. Now exercise number D, there is a poem that we have to read. The heading of the poem is All But Blind. Let me read the poem for you. All but blind in his chambered hole gropes for worms the 4-clawed mole. All but blind in the evening sky the hooded bat twirls softly by. All but blind in the burning day the barn owl blunders on her way. And blind as are these 3 to me, so blind to someone I must be. This poem is written by Walter de la Mare, and the poem explains how the author or the poet feels the three things that he's seen, they are blind. First, he has given the example of a four-clawed mole. Second, he has given the example of the hooded bat. Third, he's given the example of the barn owl. And then he says, since I see these three creatures blind, to somebody, I might be blind too. Somebody would feel that I am blind too. Let us come to the exercise. It is speaking and writing. Make a short list of things you find difficult to do. For example, turning a somersault. Let's see what is to be done here. Threading a needle. Compare your list with the others in the class. Can you explain why you find these things difficult to do? So this activity has to be done on your own. Suppose you find something difficult, some activity or some action you find difficult. So you have to mention that, and you can discuss it with your friends or your siblings or your family, and you have to write these things, these activities what you find difficult. The two examples are given here. First is turning a somersault. Second is threading a needle. So you can also write anything. For example, I just give you 1-2 examples. Swimming, or say mountain biking, or you can say washing dishes. These are few examples which you can write the things that you find difficult. Okay, so this is this activity. Next, look at your hands carefully. Now write down for each finger one action for which that finger is particularly important. For example, the second finger, this one, the index finger, helps to hold the knife down firmly while cutting. So when we cut, we hold the knife like this. So index finger and thumb basically helps in holding the knife firmly to cut. So we have to look at our hands, and we have to mention the use of each finger, all 5 fingers, and write down their importance. So I'll quickly write it down for you. You can write it in your own words as well, but let me quickly write it for you. You can take a hint. First finger, to warn somebody, or to point at someone or somebody. We do this when we point, we do this, or if we are very angry and we want to warn something, we say, dare you do this. So this is warning, and if you want to point, so the first finger is used for this. Second, the middle finger. What is this used for? Middle finger is basically mainly used to hold things. Like I am holding a pen, so this finger, the middle finger, plays an important role while holding a pen. So it is basically to hold things. If you can find some other use, you can of course write it. To hold things. Third finger, which is the ring finger, what is it that used for? As the name suggests, to put the ring on. And last one, the little finger. What is the little finger used for? I'll just give you the example quickly. To make a fist. When we close a fist, if we open the little finger, is it complete? Is my fist complete? No. So till the time little finger goes in, the fist completes. So little finger helps to make the fist.